taking a critical look at the gaming news of the week. This is Augmented Reality, presented by the Triple S League.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Augmented Reality podcast, presented by the Triple S League, your source for news, leaks, and insights about games in the gaming industry for November 4th, 2020, the Wednesday edition of the show. Hope you all had a great Halloween and are just having a great, good few days as we enter November here. Today is going to be a bit of a different show. We are doing a more unstructured, just kind of a hangout Q&A thing. We're basically going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Bring us your questions and comments into the live chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can before the end of the show. We've got 1 hour exactly. We do have a few things that people have sent us already via Discord and other means of messaging us that we're going to talk about. Some things that were posted in the content requests channel, but for the most part, we're just going to wing it today. So we don't really have, and we felt this was necessary. The news has been all over the place. I mean, with the Cyberpunk 2077 delay, and all of the, I don't know, I would just say all the negativity surrounding that. Plus, there's a moderately important event that the world is watching going on in the United States right now. You probably all know what I'm talking about. We're not going to talk politics today because we don't, unless it overlaps with gaming.
A lot of people need a stress relief from that.
A lot of people need a mental break. We all need a mental break. So we were just like, screw it. Let's just wing tonight's podcast, see how it goes. All right. That voice you heard was Cyberpunk, and we also have Moontag with us. How are you doing?
Yes, hello. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
So, Arnell Adams says, I hope you talk more about Cyberpunk 2077. Well,
we will. Oh, yeah. We're gonna have so much on that in a very short amount of time.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, there's going to be tons coming. If you mean today, is there anything specific you'd like us to address?
Sure. Any questions as far as, questions about Cyberpunk, we will take all of your Cyberpunk questions and or theories or whatever you guys want. But there's no official news today or any, big news out today. So, yeah, we'll kind of get into that. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing in the news right now regarding Cyberpunk 2077, besides fluctuations in their stock price, which I don't think many people find very interesting, but is simply there's a rumor, and I'm just going to emphasize rumor about a possible live action Cyberpunk 2077 show on Netflix. Now, the reason this is rumor territory is because it's basically a couple of people at Netflix have said, oh, it'd be nice to do a Cyberpunk 2077 live show, and it'd be nice if we could get Keanu Reeves involved. That's basically all. They see some value in doing it, but there's nothing confirmed there. So don't. We're not saying that that's coming, but somebody over there is looking at it as a possibility. Of course, lots of things for have to happen in order to actually make that happen.
Yeah.
But this is coming amid the news that Ubisoft signed a deal with Netflix for an Assassin's Creed series, and then there's also a rumor about a Tom Clancy series, Splinter Cell, I think. Again, I don't know the status of that one, if there's any meat to that one at all.
That particular rumor has been around for a really long time. They have been trying to get that put into a live action for a super, super long time. Really long time. And so this is something that's been in the works for not a short period of time. They've been trying to do this since the early 2000s, and they've been approaching various people, and there's been some pre-production stuff done, not pre-production, but pre-production stuff, and it most of it just fell through. So it's one of the more common games that people think that they can actually translate over. Doing a gun nut show, it's actually pretty easy in comparison to other filming stuff. So long as you don't have that many explosions, it's actually pretty cheap.
Also, thank you to Shua for the super chat. He says, "Get yourself some coffee and relax." Thank you, Shua. Very much appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much. I do have my coffee right here. Actually, made it just before we started. There was a question in the live chat about
Outer Worlds?
Yeah, Outer Worlds. James Fullerton is asking, have you got any info about the sales of the Outer Worlds on Steam versus Epic?
They are decent, not great, but decent.
Okay.
Meaning that I suspect that a lot of the hardcore players got this game on Epic. They peaked at around just under 17,000 players. Just recently, there was a little over 6,000 people playing. So all in all, those are pretty healthy numbers for a relatively small game as it is that's already essentially been out for a year.
A year-old game, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's decent. It's not, of course, it's not what I don't think it's what they want. I think they were hoping that there would be more. Hitting kind of like maintaining a peak or maintaining an all-time peak of at least 100,000 would be like, yes, amazing, great, awesome. Maintaining a smaller, peak around, a couple other games, it's preferable, right? So, yeah.
Right. Now there's, I'm noticing, just looking at the Steam page right now, there's over 3,000 reviews.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's really healthy interaction. Really.
Yeah. A lot of people were waiting for it on Steam. Of course, we have no idea how well it sold on Epic. Mm-hmm. And we don't know how many people bought it through Microsoft as well. Just bought it directly from Microsoft.
So just to kind of give you some some other numbers, like popular genre games, all-time peaks around 50,000 means that the game is very healthy. Like 50,000 for an all-time peak, anything north of that is really, really good for anybody who's got a moderate to, small-ish type studio. So yeah, I'm gonna do some more quick searches here.
Okay.
So as an example, Pathfinder Kingmaker peaked at 22,500. That was great for them. So that's not a great thing. Like, it's not super awesome that it's as low as it is. So yeah, there's definitely some desire to have that grow bigger, obviously, but considering that they had already launched their game, that's not too bad. In contrast to like Outlast, which was another very smaller studio type game that came out, that game peaked at only 11,000. So again, they're up on that, plus all the sales that they had on the Epic Store. Right. So
plus console sales too. We can't forget that. And I mean, it's out on not just Xbox and PlayStation, but also Switch. And there's just no way to know how many copies it's sold in total. But it seems to be doing decently well on Steam. And by the way, it's half off right now. Mm-hmm. At least it is for me when I look at it. I already own it because I bought it on the Microsoft Store. Because I won't patronize Epic, but well, yeah. I picked it up a year ago. Just bought it straight from Microsoft. Kind of wishing now I had it on Steam, but anyway. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Let me get into this other subject. I want to cover very briefly. This kind of popped up on our last show, and I wanted to kind of address it. So some people were asking some questions about the dogs, and I have mentioned how twice now in the last 2 years I've had a pup pass away, both times. From her pregnancies back to back, I've lost one pup. Before this, I want to make this clear. Before this, I've only ever lost 2 other pups.
Out of like how many litters?
Close to 10-ish, 10, 12 litters. One of them I can't confirm. I believe it was something that they ate. The dog had already gone out to their adopted home. she passed away outside of my care, and the only other one was again a runt who was just severely underdeveloped that passed away. So her normal runt size, or sorry, her normal litter size for most of those years would hover around 4, sometimes 6, but mostly 4 pups. And yeah, she never had an issue with that. So I did want to, like, somebody was upset because they were saying, designer dogs have, really large health problems. Yes, certain designer dogs do, absolutely. But I do want to kind of set the record straight on some stuff. So designer dogs, it depends on what you mean by them. If you mean like 5 generations purebred, those are what's typically classified as a designer dog, or it's a dog that you're breeding with certain other mixes to create a particular thing that's exactly how you want them to be, and it's not a very natural process. There's a lot of like insemination and stuff like that. My dogs are not classified as that. They're not even. They couldn't even be classified as that. Because they don't hold up to the purification standards that some of these tables have, which is really creepy when you're talking about genetics. Like really, really creepy.
When you're talking about human genetics, for sure.
Well, I mean, I was annoyed with this. So my dogs carry a particular genome that allows them to create blue hairs. Blue hair dogs are used to be a very common thing. And it's been very much demonized in the last few generations. Last like 50, 60 years, they've been incredibly demonized. This happened shortly after World War II, where most blue-haired dogs were outcast essentially from the breeding conventions, and it's very weird, I gotta say. My dogs can be classified in a category that is purebreds, but they are not. They are sub-purebreds, which means that the female is 1/4 Chihuahua and the male is about 1/8 Corgi Mutt, I believe it is. And so this mixes up their genome enough that they are pretty healthy. So yeah, it's not it's not nearly as bad as some people, or sorry, some situations are, like Dalmatians. Dalmatians have an 85% mortality rate in their pups.
Like 85% of pups.
85% of the pups that are born in a litter are put down before they hit 4 to 8 weeks old.
Put down?
Because of put down or die of natural causes. They're put down because they're blind, deaf, and usually like suffering from like bone disfigurements and stuff like that.
Wow, you
So you're breeding, right?
Oh no, this is something you can look up. This is absolutely super common. So I just kind of want to point out the number facts, that small breed dogs, so my types, typically live between 12 and 14 years. Moderate sized breed dogs typically live between 8 and 10. And the larger the breed of dog, the lesser life they live. Giant breed dogs live between 5 and 8 years on average. That's the official mortality rates as far as like most of the counters go. Now, of course, there's dogs that'll. We had a poodle. My mother had a poodle that lived 22 years. So there's always like some outliers in that. But small breed dogs are not. They're not prone to massive deaths. Larger breed dogs typically are, and like Labradors and a couple other dogs that have like 8 to 16 litters, there's almost always a runt that passes away. So as far as like straight up numbers go, if you're looking at like something that's not as impactful, the smaller the breed of dog, the higher life chance that they have, and also the the healthier they do tend to live. So I am not a mass breeder. I only allow them to breed when they want to. I do not force them to. There's been a number of years where they skip it because she just doesn't want it, and unlike factory farms, I don't force it. And yeah, so it's. I wanted to assure people that I'm not one of these crazy people that you sometimes see, and I've seen them. There was a fellow that we were looking to buy a dog originally. This was like 10 years ago or 12 years ago. I was looking to buy a dog, and one of the premier suppliers for a particular breed came from a guy who brought in an average of 12 dogs a week to be adopted out. So that means he's got a giant barn with dozens and dozens of mating couples, and that is a factory farm. I really didn't like that. I didn't like the concept that these dogs weren't in a home being, actively engaged with as often as they could be. Nobody's perfect, but I don't like the idea of factory farms. And so I just want to assure people, I am not a factory farmer for dogs. They are a life pair. So in a lot of situations where you have like breeding farms, you have a male, like the person who runs the farm, just like they pass around the dogs like crazy. Their mates are very rarely the same, and as soon as one passes away, they bring in a replacement for that one as quickly as they can for that particular breed. I really despise that, and I really think that's unhealthy. But that is not what we do. These two, they've only ever mated with themselves, and they were raised together, bought from completely different breeders, 2 states apart. So yeah, it's not.
Well, question though, if they've only ever mated with themselves, how do you get pups?
Oh, for crying out loud!
Lots of people in the chat.
No, I just wanted to incur to kind of set the record straight, because some people are active. They're really worried about people who breed dogs for a farm. Where they breed them for money, and they think that there's other better ways for it, and I completely agree. I don't think factory farming dogs is a good thing. I think that I don't think there should be any professional breeders out there. I really don't like that concept of like a professional breeder. Like, okay, professional breeder maybe in some very small microcosms, police dogs, maybe something like rescue dogs,
something really specified.
Yeah, well, something very specified.
You're technically a professional that. if you're breeding dogs and selling the pups, you're technically a professional.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah, well, puppy mills is what you're talking about is not. And I agree. Like,
are really, really bad. And I just wanted to assure everybody that these dogs, they only breed when they want to, and this is the 4th one I've lost in 12 years. And as far as we have a Moon and I went to see a family friend that they just had puppies, and there was 12 of them, right? It was 12 of them.
Oh god, yeah, there was so many of them.
They lost one due to it being underdeveloped and it being a runt. So that's like, again, that's really normal. Whenever you're dealing with 12 plus pups, like, it's really normal for one of them to pass away. So I'm not, I don't want it to be super sad. It was sad. I hand fed her for a month. I was not going to sell her. I was going to keep her for myself. And we're probably not going to sell the other one either. It's probably going to go to a family friend, or not family friend, a relative. Probably going to go to a relative. If I was, if I was interested in selling them, we would have set up an auction by now, right?
Right.
But we don't do that because that's not what we do.
All right.
So anyways, I just wanted to get that out there, kind of give an update. The big one, super healthy, taking her into the vet probably early next week to get a checkup. And again, she's not going to be for sale. She's going to a family friend or a family member who is in need of a companion dog. So at the very least, we'll be kind of like sharing her back and forth for a little bit. So that's kind of honey badger. No, her name was Paimon. We named her Paimon. Yeah. Although I am thinking of I'm still up to tweaking that. Was kind of wanting to maybe call her Saber out of like just kind of keep her sister, alive in that. So let us know. Like Paimon's a really good name. She loves food. She loves rolling around. She's the cutest little thing ever.
Just post some pictures on the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, join the Discord server and join up.
Us.
Yeah, join up with the community. You can find the link in the description below. It's a great place. And no politics talk allowed outside of the off-topic area, but that's opt-in and optional for everybody.
All right, let's get back to the game talk now.
Yeah, I got a few messages here. I just wanted to say, slam that like button if you haven't already. Really appreciate that. Nicoro Tondo 1991 said, in my region, the Outer Worlds is 3 times more expensive than pre-ordering Cyberpunk. LOL. That's bizarre.
Wow.
He posted the prices, and I don't know what currency that is, but yeah, that's kind of crazy. Arnell Adams asks, do you think they will delay 2077 again?
No. I really have to emphasize this. I doubt it very much so, just because of the amount of feedback that they got. Plus, we know that the PC, the advanced versions of the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation and the Xbox, the new Xbox, all of those run really well. There was some issues. There's always been some issues with one of the consoles as far as coding goes, but that's because that particular company doesn't offer as much assistance with coding that the other platform does. The other platform takes an active interest in making sure that your game runs as smoothly as possible. They have whole teams of people that will help you optimize your game for release. The other company doesn't do that. They don't do that. They have this weird system where they don't even tell you when you've upset the great sensor. It's like, you must fix this game. It is unacceptable as is. What do we need to fix about it? We are not telling you. This is something you should know. How dare you, you bigot? It's like, okay, I guess we'll change some clothes.
Add some lens flares.
Yeah. Add some lens flares, maybe. I mean, I really don't know what we're supposed to do here. And again, that's the way that they treat a lot of the smaller developers. And again, this has nothing to do with the games or the people who play that platform. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is the fact that we have a greedy corporation that every couple of years doesn't self-check, right? So they don't get self-corrected as much. And so that's why we have to get noisy about it, so that they self-correct out of being forced to by the community, and then they readjust, and then things are peachy keen again. And this happened with Xbox, this happened with PlayStation a few generations ago. This is normal stuff. This stuff happens all the time, and it's totally okay to be vocal about, hey, we don't like this, so long as you're trying to do it without saying, I've never said boycott. The word boycott is not something I like saying. I really don't like saying boycott, because the concept of that means that I'm just done with you professionally. Who's the guy who played Batman? Who went off on that?
Which one?
The one who went off on that. The original trilogy. He went off on that one guy. He's like, we're done professionally. On that light, it was a lighting grip or something like that. Sorry, no, not the original 3. He was the one who filled in for that, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I'll look it up later. But yeah, he went off on it was Christian Bale. Christian Bale went off on a lighting guy because he was fiddling with a light while he was trying to do some lines, and he went off. It's like, you and I, we're done professionally. It's like, I think that's a terrible way to approach it. You have to be willing to give a little bit if you want to have a community. So I don't ever encourage anybody to boycott. If you don't want to buy their stuff, then don't buy their stuff. But there's no need to boycott a particular company just because they've done one thing out of thousands that you don't like. if you just go, okay, I'm not boycotting, but I'm not happy with their choices, so I'm just not going to buy the product over the next couple of weeks. Now, some people call that a boycott. Some people call it just, market choice. If they see that that's an issue and they send a, they start to realize that, then that's good. That's what we want, right? Terra K, I still hate, Nintendo's grade too. They really never do drop the prices on those games. And at the same time, they leave so much money on the table. One of the reasons why Genshin is so popular right now is because there's no alternate version of, there's no like cartoony, super cartoony, somewhat of a simple exploratory like dungeon crawler that is Breath of the Wild. There's none of that on the PC unless you're being a pirate. There's no option for you to play that on the PC now, except for when Genshin showed up. I like Genshin too. But I would have preferred to be playing, a Breath of the Wild with like an expanded character list or more options or, more additional story or content. And again, there's so many companies who like say, what we were just talking about it with, they released to Epic, and then a year later they released to the other platforms. I don't understand why they can't do that. Like Sony's starting to realize how that's important, and that's a good move on them. And kudos to them for putting out a couple of their games onto the PC lately. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
but
no, Flavio, Genshin is not a battle royale. It is
literally it's Breath of the Wild.
It's basically Breath of the Wild reskinned in sort of an anime style.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like that kind of game, then and it's free to play too. And Side, I have another question. I have a question about Genshin Impact I want to ask you, but first I want to get to some of the other chat messages. So Moon, do you want to take those?
Sure. Yeah. So. Notional.
Yeah.
So what have you guys played lately, other than Leisure Suit Larry, of course?
Leisure Suit. Is there a new Leisure Suit Larry?
No.
Is that or
obviously making a reference to the older games, which are all great, by the way.
Oh yeah, they're do you remember how? Okay, so those games were very funny, but then
they're very funny. I have a quick story about that. Back in the day, and I believe this is verifiable on some interviews. I'm really positive this is. So back in the day, they went about to make a live action. Remember back in the kind of like the mid to late 90s when people were doing like live action shots and movie and filming inside their games, and adding it as like cinematics or like cinematic choices and stuff like that. They went to make a Leisure Suit Larry live action game, which was, again, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. They set up the film and then the camera rolls through and rolls different scenes according to what you pick, right? You played those games. You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not going crazy.
They are super. They're adult. They're raunchy as heck. They've got full nudity. Very pixely.
No. I'm talking about the genre.
Oh yeah. Leisure Suit Larry specifically, I was talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So Leisure Suit Larry was, so Leisure Suit Larry was always and has always been done in a cartoon version, like
it's
high grade
cartoony.
pixel.
Yeah,
it's always been that. They tried to make it. Like the. So do you remember the genre of game where it was live action video? And they recorded video and you played through the game in these video chunks, and it was kind of like a choose your own adventure thing.
Yeah, an FMV game. Yeah.
Yes, FMV game. So they made an FMV Leisure Suit Larry, and all they discovered is that it turned it from a comedy game that was poking fun at the concepts of, the types of sexual problems that older men deal with, and kind of like this funny, like, tongue-in-cheek, very, very tongue-in-cheek joke game where there wasn't any actual prawn content. They made this an FMV, and it just became a porn game. And so they canceled the project was well into like halfway through and said, no, we're not doing this. And then they made another one of the cartoon versions. So very interesting that they chose not to, because the Leisure Suit Larry is supposed to be this like really like raunchy comedy thing, kind of like South Park for adults, but without any actual like
South Park for adults. South Park is for adults.
That's what you think. It's not what I thought when I was 10 years old. Yeah.
By the way, there is a new Leisure Suit Larry. Came out less than 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a sequel. It's a sequel to one that came out in 2018. I had no idea they were still making those games. That's crazy. But I'm just remembering back to, do you remember the security features they used to have on those games? Like, to make sure you're an adult, answer this question. Who was president in, like, 1964? Or whatever. It
was super hilarious trying to get past that stuff.
It was super... Well, it's just funny that used to work. Now, it's like, okay, I'll just Google who was president in whatever whatever time. But
that doesn't work nearly as much. And that always made me laugh, because no kid's ever thought of going to, like, hey mom, who was president during this time? She's like, Richard Nixon was.
Oh, my kid's like, interested in history.
I'm so glad that Junior's interested in history now. Hey Junior, what are you doing? I'm working on the computer, Mom. Don't come in. Okay, good for you. I'm so happy.
I'm writing a history report. Why does it sound like you're hammering your desk? Okay, so... Oh, shoot, what was it? Oh, yes, so, okay, while we're on the topic. The studio that made those games, that originally came up with them, Sierra Entertainment, that game developer has a fascinating history. And, I mean, it no longer... It's still around, I think, in name, but the original Sierra Entertainment, it was founded by Roberta and Ken Williams, this couple who, the wife actually, the Ken was like the technical guy who did the programming, and Roberta was like the story and game design person. One of the original women in game development, who you never hear about her. And we're talking about back when text adventures like were top of the line. And so they really they brought text-based adventures into the graphical era, and we're talking like super old school like EGA graphics. Like, you can have up to 16 colors on the screen and the pixels are the size of pizzas. Like, so the King's Quest series, the Police Quest series, the Space Quest series, the Leisure Suit Larry series, and tons and tons more developed by Roberta Williams. Fascinating person. They've retired now. They've sold off the company, and they spend life traveling around on their yacht, I guess. They put up a website sort of documenting the history of the company. I check it out every now and then, because I loved those games when I was a kid. But really, it's just really cool. She was a stay-at-home mom, and decided to get into. They just started developing games together, and had a huge amount of success, because the stories were fantastic. They came up with it was like a text adventure that you would the original games, you would type in what you wanted your character to do, but you'd also use cursors to move them around the screen. It was very innovative, with some great storytelling and some fantastic humor. Mm-hmm. But she came up with some pretty raunchy adult stuff too. So yeah,
I don't know why people are surprised with this. I mean,
well, it's just I just find it funny that there's a lot of talk about getting more women into game development and design.
Has nobody ever read a Harlequin romance? Like, seriously?
Oh,
oh, that's what you mean. Okay, yeah. Terra K says, I believe King's Quest IV had one of the earliest female protagonists in the game, because you played as Rosella in that one. That's true, and that's the one I played as a kid. Or the most. That's what I played the most as a kid. Yeah, the King's Quest series was great. All right. So, Common Pants asks thoughts on the vampire. Oh, we didn't actually answer Notional's question. What have we been playing lately? I've been playing Ghost Runner and loving it. It's
Playing
Baldur's
Genshin.
Gate, Baldur's Gate all the way, and I'm going to be getting back into a little bit of Stellaris here shortly, and we're going to start streaming the launch of Shadowlands this month. We're going to get into a little bit of that on the Twitch. If you guys are interested in trying out Shadowlands, and if you have an account and you're like, hey, let's give this a shot, I think this might be interesting, or at the very least, it will be an interesting, what's the word? Train wreck? Burning dumpster.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, dumpster fire. That's proper terminology.
You're being
Those
very
are. It's serious. I'm telling you, like, it's really interesting. So yeah, we'll talk briefly about Blizzard and World of Warcraft. They might not be dead. Blizzard appears to be fighting Activision. It's astounding. But again, we'll get to that in a second.
sure. What have you been playing, Moon?
I've been playing Genshin Impact, and actually I've started dabbling in some avatar creation, so I might post some stuff in the creator room later on.
Cool.
Avatar for what though?
Oh, just why just have my meat skin when I can have a digital skin too?
One of the things that we really do want to do is we want to do some definitely during like live streams, like when we're live streaming this winter, is we want to do some saber beat and stuff like that. But it's not enough to just do saber beat from the first person perspective. We want to do the full body motion tracking saber beat with different skins, and so Moon is working on one for herself. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
Interesting. And you know what? Thanks to the memification of that game on this channel, I can no longer remember if it's actually Saber Beat or if it's Beat Saber. I just can't. All right. So Common Pants asks thoughts on the Vampire the Masquerade Battle Royale. Now this is actually news to me, so I'm just looking it up, or I just pulled up an article, but this is pretty recent news. The next thrilling evolution of Battle Royale set in the cult classic Vampire the Masquerade universe. Had you guys heard about this? I had not heard about this.
No, I didn't hear about that.
So, in a new update on the developer's website outlining upcoming projects, the studio teased 2 additional highly ambitious AAA quality projects, as well as the new Battle Royale, which it says will be a thrilling take on the cult classic IP. So vampire sects are at war across the streets and rooftops of Prague. Oh, that could actually be kind of cool. Choose your playstyle, go solo or together, battling rivals and the hostile entity who's hell-bent on exterminating all vampires. Use your supernatural powers, weapons and blood to become stronger in order to hunt, fight, and survive the night. Little cinematic trailer here. It's a cinematic, so this tells us nothing about the actual gameplay, of course. But vampires leaping across rooftops, shooting and slashing at each other and stuff could be a lot of fun. Yeah. I think my thought on it is the Battle Royale. I think Battle Royale has to be innovative, bring something new to the table, or I think that the typical 100-person shooter battle royales have been done to death now. But there's new takes on the genre coming out. We had Fall Guys. We had Nintendo releasing their Mario 35, which I haven't played, but some of my favorite streamers have been playing it, and it's a ton of fun to watch. Because at first I was like, 35 people playing Mario at the same time. Like, what's okay? Is it just a race? No, it's like you actually you choose other players to target, and then enemies you kill get thrown onto their screen, and you try to eliminate other people. It's great.
Oh.
But yeah, like, what if they bring some innovation to the table? It could be fun.
Right.
There's a couple of battle royale concepts that, if they can do them right, I think they're a good idea. I will continue to say that I don't think we need any more survival shooter FPS type battle royales. I think we have a lot of those. I think Fortnite is enough. PUBG, all that kind of stuff. We don't want more of those. My favorite battle royale game is Civilization's battle royale game. Yeah, Civilization, the 4X type, move your units, build your cities. That has a battle royale, and it's really interesting. It's not the greatest, but it's as far as my opinion on the battle royale current market, I think it's brilliant. I think it's a really good idea.
I used to play Age of Empires like that. I'd go up against like 7 AIs on the largest map possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting really annoyed because that "you're being attacked" siren was going off every 20 seconds because like 2 soldiers would come and start wailing on my wall. They'd send like 2 soldiers, I'd kill them. Like a few minutes later, they said 2 more. Then you'd always find that one AI who they just couldn't get their civilization off the ground, and it's like they have like 3 villagers just standing around their town center just waiting to be slaughtered.
Oh.
I know, I always felt bad for a little while. I think sometimes I would send in my monk and convert them, and then I would feel less bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, Max is in the chat. Hey, Max.
Hey,
Max has a brilliant idea. He wants a Pokemon Battle Royale. And I can just imagine that, if you could transport this over to Pokemon Go.
Oh my gosh.
And just have this thing where it's like you're forced to like battle other people with Pokemons, and if you lose, you die. I think that would be. I think that's actually the plot of several anime and shows. So.
Right on.
Oh, funny.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting idea. So yeah, do we want to talk? Blizzard and Activision?
Sure, go ahead.
10 minutes left. So Blizzard has made this is why I'm interested in watching Shadowlands, and this is why I've been taking part of their beta and have been working alongside some pretty big names in the content creator space for that. They're not dead yet. Blizzard is not dead yet. Blizzard just came out against Activision's will and said we are going to stop multi-boxing. Multi-boxing from this day forward. You're going to get warnings, and then you're going to get bans, and then you're going to get permanent bans, and then you're going to get hardware bans.
What is multi-boxing?
So multi-boxing is it's an MMO. You play a character. You play one character. You're a mage, you're a paladin, you're a warrior, you're a rogue, whatever. Multi-boxing is where somebody is playing 20, sometimes it's usually just 4, but most of the time it's like 20 or more characters all at the same time.
At the same time, okay.
And they're all flying together in this massive pack. And they can, if that person targets you in a PvP situation, you're going to have 20 frostbolts coming your way. Instead of just one frostbolt from one player, you have 20 of them.
That doesn't sound fair.
And these people are the type of people who just destroy economies. Everybody can loot the same iron ore pack every couple hours. And so you fly up to a nice little thing of ore, and you're like, "Ooh, look at me! I'm gonna get some ore." And you're like, "Ching, ching, 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 ching." And then poof! Oh, yay! Look at the ore! I've got like 3 pieces of ore. I wonder how much these sell for. And you go to the auction house. You're like, hey, mister, how much do these little pieces of ore sell for? And he's like, oh, 2 copper. And you're like, oh, well, I could vendor it for more. Yeah, well, you see that guy over there? And you turn and there's 100 characters all standing together, morphing into this giant blob. Yes, well, that person flies in that pack to one mining node and then another mining node. And so instead of that person, that one singular person, picking up 3 ore, like you just did, he's picking up 300 ore because there's 100 of him. And destroys the economy on the servers, destroys everything about the game. It has been a complaint for years. But I don't know if you know this, but that person who's running the 10, 25, 10, 4, 300 accounts, that person is paying for all of those accounts. He's paying for all of the subscriptions on those accounts. He's buying all of those account boxes. This is literally pay to win in this game. It is literally pay to win. And Blizzard said, no more. We're done. No more of this. You start to do this, you can multi-box, as in you can have like more than one, account logged in on the same computer at the same time. But in order to control them, instead of what they used before is they use this system so that if you press left, all your characters move left. If you press up, all your characters move up. And then they would have these like scripting so that if one of your characters gets stuck or stunned or whatever, then they're just going to rejoin the pack as soon as they get free. So they said no more of this, but you can still do this, but you have to alt tab between them. So if you're a couple and you're playing together and you have 2 computers beside each other, and Moon and I have done this before. Moon's like, oh, I need to go do something, and so she'll put me on follow, and then I'll just take her where we're headed. That's not illegal. That won't get you banned. But now having these tools that allow you to enter commands in all at the same time, that's going to be banned. And you can now report these players whenever you see 10 characters flying to the same mining node, and they all pop off and they're all mine, and then they all like mount up and they all fly away again. You can report those players and they will be almost immediately banned. And if this is a multiple infraction, they will be permanently banned or hardware banned. So this is huge because this means that Blizzard has basically said we're walking away from all these extra subscriptions, all this extra money that we're getting from these people, and we're telling them no for the general health and safety and general community fairness that is their gaming community. So big kudos.
Well done.
And you said Activision is not.
Oh, Activision is not happy with this. They are not happy with this at all. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that they're walking away from, and they are angry. But Blizzard is putting their foot down, and so finally we see literally the abused, spouse or partner in this relationship finally standing up to the person who's berating them every day for not making enough money. And it's like, great, awesome, good. Yes, very happy with this. This is one of the reasons why I'm coming back to give Shadowlands a try. They've got some interesting mechanics. We're going to be able to stream this quite a bit. We're going to see, what happens over the course of, it's not going to be the only game we're playing. We're not going to do it for 8 hours a day, but we're going to give it we're going to give it the old college try. All right. We're going to show up. We're going to put in the work. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be like, hey, let's try this out. Let's see if it works. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, well, it's still going to be some funny content.
Yeah.
And you get to hear me do more voices, so that's great. Yes. Ashton is asking whether we would recommend a Baldur's Gate 3. If you are okay with early access and helping a company who honestly takes your feedback to heart and honestly is actively interested in making the game the best thing possible, I would highly recommend this. Yes, it is very bare bones right now, as far as what the game will ultimately have. not bare bones in comparison to other games. In other games that offer you a similar experience to this outshines so many games. Right now, honestly, this outshines pretty much every single Dragon Age game I can think of. It really does. It offers you so much more. It offers you so much choice, and the multiplayer, the expanse, the everything that's coming, is looking so good. It's looking so good. So yeah, super interested, super excited to see where this is going. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Ashton also asked, are you guys going to release the new Cyberpunk 2077 romance tier list? If you mean part 3, that will be coming as soon as we can get it done. Part 2 we put out a couple weeks ago, so if you haven't seen that yet, it is up on the channel. It's live now. We would appreciate you checking it out, liking, sharing it around. We'd love to get some play on that one. Part 3 will be coming, should be out before Cyberpunk 2077 comes out at very least. I'm working on another major video right now that we're aiming to get out by before the console's release in a week or so. That's coming up right away. November 10th, I believe, for Xbox, and the 12th for PS5. Console release is coming up very soon. And yeah, we got a special video planned for that, so that's what's taking the majority of my attention as far as heavily edited videos goes. We got lots planned, though. If you haven't checked out our music channel yet, check it out, Triple S Radio. We got a great mix of cyberpunk music there, and someone commented saying, this is great to listen to while programming. I thought, oh, that is so cool. Like, we thought about, like, music for gaming, music for, studying or working out, whatever, but, so, if you're coding or programming, doing computer work, check it out. You might find something there that you like. We will be adding more as soon as we possibly can.
Just another quick question and answer. What do we know about Biomutant? When is it dropping? Is it ever coming out? Well, seeing as they said, hey, we're releasing this sometime in 2019 and it's now nearly 2021, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. I hate to say it, but when a game goes for a year without an update as to WTF is even going on over there, and they just refuse to engage at all, it's not a good sign. It's a really not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad because it looked like it was pretty cool. But yeah, for the moment, put it out of your head. Play some Cyberpunk in a month, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I had a question for you about Genshin Impact, Cyb, because it's been out for a while now, and I don't know if you caught the video Bellular did about it recently. Channel we respect. He did kind of a deep dive into the game, talked about how it's a solid quality game, good content, good gameplay. Lots of content for considering it's a free to play. It's an incredible game. But then he had some pretty harsh things to say about the gacha mechanics as you progress deeper and deeper into the game. And so early on, you said the gacha mechanics were not too invasive, not too in your face. It wasn't, you didn't really have to spend any money to enjoy the game. It seems like as you get into the later game that's not so much the case anymore, and it becomes a bit of a time gate.
Yes.
You can only play the game for a certain amount of minutes per day before you need to.
So this is something that they're rolling out new content. The game right now only has 1/8 of the originally structured. 1/16 is 1/16 of the initial planned story content. And 1/16 the total. 1/8. That's where the 1/8 is. 1/8 of the total map content open right now. The resin issue is a big issue. It's a big issue. but it is a time gate, but it's a time gate that I feel that will be probably, for the most part, fairly fixed coming up soon. Right now, it's kind of like really early, and you're not hitting these walls unless you're literally playing for hours and hours and hours a day, like me. But one thing that I can say that after having watched and having spent some money on the game, and then having watched a couple of these other content creators go from, this one guy went from a $7,000 account to a free-to-play account, and he is now basically caught up to where his $7,000 account is. He stopped playing that account a couple of weeks ago. He started a new account where it was completely 100%, not a dime. And every day he comes on, he shows during his live stream, he shows that he hasn't spent a dime on this account. And he is, now he's lucked out a little bit. He really, really has. But he has progressed up to basically where his previous account was. So again, if you are like, it's a gacha game, I recommend extreme caution when playing gacha games. They can definitely pull you in, and they will definitely take you for a ride if they can. So avoid if you are worried about that, but if you enjoy the generalized concept of the game, then it's not too bad.
Okay.
But
yeah, I was curious if you had changed your opinion on it or not.
No, I think, like, right now I'm annoyed with it, but I also know that if I do everything that I can do in a day, I'm playing like 2 to 3 hours.
Well, that's not bad, I suppose.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time that you're spending on it on any one particular game. Do I think that they should? And it does appear as if they're going to make it so that you can bank all of your resin throughout the week, and then if you want to sit down and play for 8 hours on the weekend, and do everything that you would normally have done throughout the week, and just like cram that into a single day, seems like that's something that they're going to be adding. So in that case, again, I kind of like it, but the other thing that you do kind of have to remember is that this game is made and released in a country where you are not allowed to spend more than 3 hours playing a video game a day, because that is extremely unproductive time and energy that should be going to help the party, and you have to help the party, because how dare you spend time doing some things that you love? Hobbies are wasteful are wasteful things that are unacceptable to the party. You cannot do that. You will go to the small island out in the ice. How dare you do that?
I find it funny how you go into an Eastern European accent when you're voicing the Chinese government. So we have so Ashton Banky asks, will Baldur's Gate 3 get a PS5 and Xbox Series X release, or is it only going to be available on PC?
Oh, definitely, it's coming out to the new.
It will, but
again, don't like. I suspect strongly that they will do that because it makes a lot of sense to them, and the game is somewhat capable of that, and they did that before. So I wouldn't be surprised. I can't confirm right now because it is in early access. They're a year away from finalizing the game.
Yeah, for early access, it'll they might stick to PC just for the early access. But don't expect it to come to the PS4 or the Xbox One. Larian Studios' David Walgrave has said he's basically ruled that out, saying that he doesn't believe current gen consoles will be able to run the game, which I find rather funny. That they're going to make Cyberpunk run on these. The current gen, but not Baldur's Gate 3.
No, it's a resource hog because it's doing way more calculations than normal, and the world is really, really, really massive. I do not expect them to show up. Plus, you'd be talking about releasing on the old consoles well after a year after. After the new consoles are out, it's really unlikely. It's really unlikely. So, Yeah.
All right. With that, we are at our time, so we'll wrap up the show
Join
for
us
today.
on the Discord immediately following this. We'll be there in a few minutes to hang out and do some games.
Right on. All right, well, thank you, Cyb and Moontag, and thank you, everybody who joined us in the live chat today, and everyone who's listening after the fact, and for supporting the show, listening live or after the fact. We appreciate you all. Don't forget to slam that like button before you leave. We really appreciate that, and yeah, this was a new kind of format, trying out this casual podcast format. If you let us know what you think in the comments below. Seeing some very positive response in the live chat right now. But yeah, if you're listening after the fact, feel free to leave us a comment. Special thank you to our Patreon supporters and our channel members who help to make this content possible. Robin, Shua82, Timebean, Schoolaman, Lady Reaver, Drekoden, Niv, Too Tall 12, Jer Schultz, Game Notes, Night City Punk, Terror K, and our 2 anonymous supporters on Patreon as well. Thank you all so very much. You can join the live show on YouTube Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings, where you can interact with us and other listeners, be part of the discussion. Check out our YouTube channel for game guides, reviews, comedy, news updates, tons more quality gaming content as well. My name is Ash. On behalf of Cyb and Moontag, thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you again very soon.